Yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Josh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear you.
Okay. How about now?
Muted Steve. Hmm.
I don't know why.
Can't hear you.
All right, let's do this.
Hey, there you are. All right. How are you, my friend?
How's that?
Awesome. Awesome. I can hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
All right, cool. Give me 1 second. I just need to grab a quick drink of water.
No worries.
Sorry. Okay. Okay, cool.
How are you?
I'm good. I literally just got the kids to bed.
Oh, that's got to be a relaxing experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. How have you been? What have you been up to?
Not much, man. Just kind of trucking along. Just waiting for my job to end so I can jump right into this with both feet.
Very cool. When does it happen?
It's supposed to happen at the end of February.
Okay. All right. Cool. So not too long. What are you doing?
I do. I work for my father-in-law. He has a concrete company down here, and I do the estimating and contract negotiations.
Okay. Gotcha. Pardon me. Cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know that you like to spend as much time with family as possible, but I've already pre-recorded an introduction. So if you'd like, we could jump right into it.
Sure. Whatever you want, man.
Cool. So, Steve, thank you so much for joining me here today. I know you've got a busy schedule with family and work and your network marketing opportunity. So thank you so much for being here with us. I've given a brief introduction, but if you could describe your background and what your experience has been like up to this point.
Sorry about that. All of a sudden, I lost sound. So my background and I'm sorry?
Yeah, your background up to this point.
In the industry or in general?
In general. What has your journey been like up to this point?
Yeah. It was. I started way back in about 2006, and I tried doing it on my own. I tried to reinvent the wheel, I guess you could say. I didn't want to do the same thing that everybody else did, but I just kind of wanted to do my own thing, and I just did everything the hard way and made every mistake possible, which I guess helps for me now. It just, like I said before, I did everything. I did everything the hard way. I made all the mistakes. I lost lots of friends. Family stopped talking to me. Basically all the nightmare stories. This guy did it. I didn't plug into the systems that were there. I didn't listen to the people that were already having success, and wanted to do it Steve Krivda's way instead of the proven way.
Sure. Sure. So when you're talking about the mistakes and losing friends and
Mm-hmm.
family, you're referring to network marketing, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So have you always been in network marketing, or have you worked in the corporate world? What was your transition?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I know. I see what you're saying. So I was a rehab therapist for about 10 years, and I went from there into I taught karate full time for quite a few years. So I kind of had a wide array of jobs. I went from waiting tables um, to cleaning pools to massage therapy to rehab therapy. Then I went from there to teaching karate. And then this is my longest stint so far. We were in 2015, I believe. I'm going on 12 years now in the construction industry. So I've been all over the place. So it's been a cool journey. What's really funny about network marketing in our industry is that I have excelled at every single thing I've ever done. And this is why it was so discouraging. It was the first time that I've ever went for something that I started at the bottom and I just never made it to the top up until recently. Responses.
Awesome. Well, so so you could kick my ass and then give me a massage afterwards, is what?
Sure. Not so much anymore. I'm old and brittle.
Cool. Well, what sparked your interest in wanting to be an entrepreneur and pursue this new lifestyle?
It started off because my buddies were doing it. I saw some good friends of mine that were doing this, and I liked the people that they were hanging around with. It was my wife and I were newly married, so we were looking for some fun people to hang out with that we can both get along with. And the network marketing industry just has a lot of fun people in it, very honest and authentic people. So we started hanging out with them, and man, in the very beginning, I started having success because I was like, you guys have to hang out with all my fun friends. So everybody wanted to be in our big group. And that's how it started. And then when the economy hit, I teetered down with about everybody else in this area, not necessarily just in network marketing, but in our construction area. And I realized that there has to be something bigger than what I'm seeing. There has to be something bigger than just working 9 to 5, relying on somebody else to pay me. No matter how hard I worked, I'm still going to make the same amount of money. And I had to find something that there weren't so many hands in the honeypot that was affecting my family's future. So I looked to this industry at something that I know if I put my time in and the more work and more blood, sweat, and tears, I guess you could say, that I put in here, I know that I'll get a return from it. When in construction, the harder you work, you just get more tired.
Sure. I can only imagine. Since I was young, I've always kind of sworn off manual labor. So, fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, I've never had that experience. But I know in working in the corporate world, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, you go in, you know what you're going to get paid, but they're always piling more on top of you, and you're still at that salary level. Now, you had said that a lot of people have their hands in the honeypot. What do you mean by that?
Well, in our industry, we're a subcontractor. We do contract. So There's obviously the owner of the house that we're building. There's a general contractor, and I'm talking about people that can stop paying you. And now I'll get into the people if they fall down on the job or they don't do up to par, it can affect the profit. So then we have the project manager, the on-site superintendent, our superintendent, all of our field guys. Then we have our rebar vendor, concrete vendor, masonry vendor, lumber vendor, our pumping vendor. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And if any of those guys either fall or don't provide what they're supposed to provide, then it can affect our bottom line. And we're doing anywhere from $750 to $1,500,000 job or $1,500,000 job. So one of those can really take it down.
Sure. Now, how does that compare with being an entrepreneur?
Typically, when is there an echo? I can kind of hear an echo here. Is it just me?
I'm not hearing it, but I'm hearing you like it cuts out once in a while.
Okay, cool. No problem. So, how does that differ from an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
I'm typically dealing with one person at a time. I know that I have my feelers out, and I have my network out to where I'm with hundreds, if not thousands, of people that I can see at a time. So if one person goes away, there's usually one person quickly that can replace it. Not that that sounds a horrible thing to say, but there's always somebody that's looking to help themselves, or somebody that needs help, or somebody who needs coaching or guiding, or somebody that has the same vision as me that wants to lock arms with me and run with it.
Interesting. So, up to this point, you just recently rank advanced in your company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were awarded the BMW, which is something most people in your company kind of strive for. So congratulations for that, first of all.
Thanks, man.
What has been your greatest achievement up to this point?
Oh, that's easy. For a long time, let me take these out for a second. For a long time, it was about the money. It was in the very beginning, it was about making as much money as I could. I knew where it came from, and it's not a very good way of running your business. And I don't care what business you're in, it's just not a good way to run it. And it doesn't matter what. I mean, obviously you need capital to run your business, but it's not that I cared about stepping on people, but if people got a little bit hurt on the way, at that point in time in my career, it didn't matter to me as much as it does now. Well, it was when I started working with people, and I realized the impact that I can have on people. So I realized that I had a story that I needed to tell. I had some pretty rough time. Comparatively speaking, I haven't, but in my life, compared to me, I've had some scary things that have happened, financially and different things like that. And I realized that the only way that I can really make an impact in this world is to get out there and really talk to people, share my story with people. So my biggest accomplishment was, and it's something that I've been striving for quite a few years, be on stage. And I believe that you were there for that, Josh. And I had my airtime at Top Runner Academy with Ranger Skaten, and that was the coolest thing that I think I have ever done. And that was awesome, because I was able to share a story of me losing belief in myself and just the mental struggles that I was going through at the time, and kind of how I broke through them. And a gentleman came up to me afterwards in tears, and he's like, "Man, I just want to let you know that I've been going through that." And he says, "My wife was having that talk with me as I was leaving the house to come here." And he's like, "Thank you so much to let me know. You've given me hope that I know that as long as I have that communication with my wife and kind of follow what you were saying, that there's hope for me, and there's hope for my wife, and there's hope for my business because of that." So that was pretty cool. That's what I was looking for, which was awesome.
That's quite an amazing experience to have. to be able to impact someone. I've interviewed probably a half a dozen people or so in who are entrepreneurs who work in network marketing and other fields. But it seems like the common theme amongst the people that I interview is the ability to impact others.
Yeah.
It's quite an experience to be able to know firsthand that you are having an impact on someone else. You're making a difference in someone else's life.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, when I was in karate, it was different. You know what I mean? Because you're teaching people. It's physical fitness, so like you can see the difference. You can see when somebody has an advancement. You can see when they come in. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my gosh, you've lost. Would you lose like 20 pounds? Or they come in with different clothes on because they can change clothes. It's different when you're doing that. Or even if they compete and they get a trophy or whatever, it's different because as hard as that is physical and mental. This is all mental. Like, man, there's some human beings, man. We play some serious head games with ourselves, and it's hard. Man. We beat ourselves up. It's crazy.
So, what was your journey like in overcoming that mental blockage, that mental thought process of constantly beating yourself up?
How did I overcome it?
Yeah.
I still deal with it. To this day, I don't think it ever goes away. It's, excuse me for a second. As far as how do I get past it? Holy smokes. I stopped listening to the voices in my head. I've stopped hearing that. Even when I would have strides, so here's a great example. This past week, I think I added 7 people to my team. And I added another one today, and I was sitting there, and I was like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know people that haven't put 7 people in their company in like a 12-month time span, and I did it in 11? So 11 days, I've done that. So we constantly we're just messing with ourselves like we're not good enough ever, and it's a really terrible place to be. And we have to constantly remind ourselves that whatever I want to do in our lifetimes, I have to remind myself that I can do it. I just have to remember that I can, and that's the difficult part. That time that I said that when I lost belief in myself, it was rough. I had never admitted that to myself ever, and I was 39. And I've never battled something like that before. And it was Danielle. I mean, it was my wife. She told me. She's like, look, Steven. That's when I knew it was serious. It's called Steven. She says, this isn't a game. This is your life. You have to understand that I'm not telling you this because you're your wife. I'm not telling you that I believe in you because I'm your wife. I've seen the people around you. I've seen what they do, and I know your capabilities as a human being, not just in this industry, but as a human being. And she's like, there's people like Ray and Jessica that tell you, I believe in you. So they don't tell you that because they want to pat you on the back and say, good game. This is your life. This is something that you're either going to have to crap or get off the pot. That's basically what she said to me. She's like, I believe in you. I know that you can do anything. And she patted me on my chest, and she said, you have to believe in your heart that you can do this. So you need to make a decision that you're going to run with it or stop. And that was pretty much it. So how do I get past the belief issues? How do I get past, when I'm beating myself and having a hard time? I get right into action. I pick up the phone. I send an email out. I do a piece of content. I do anything I can possibly can to stop that Facebook newsfeed scroll.
Yeah, we kind of we kind of fall into that trap periodically, but those are great tips to really get over that hump. As entrepreneurs, as people who are crafting our own vision, it's up to us to keep moving on. It's up to us to continue to motivate ourselves. And you're very fortunate to have a wife who's there in your corner.
I know it's
So
rare.
it is.
Yeah.
It really is, unfortunately. So you, my friend, are very blessed.
Totally. Can I piggyback on that real quick?
Sure.
So what I did was about 13 months ago, I was in a class, and I think it was 9 weeks, and the very first webinar was on creating a webinar or creating a vision for yourself. And I didn't understand what it was. I'm like, I know what my goals are. I want to make a I want to be on stage, silly things. And we went really deep into creating vision. In fact, that's my absolute most favorite thing to teach. That's my favorite subject is creating vision because it's impacted my life so crazy. And I created a vision board, which is sitting here, which some of it needs to be updated because I've actually obtained some of it, which is really amazing. And a long story short was basically when I created my vision, I knew that my end point was here, and I'm here. And I know that this is all possible because I've seen it. I've been to the events, I've talked to people, I've interviewed people, I've hung out with them, I've been immersed in it. And the only thing that I know that's standing between where I am and where I want to be is action. So I know that all I have to do is just remain in action, and that will come to me. And that's just, that's something I have to constantly remind myself of, that's it. You can't drive down the street without getting in the car and driving. You can't just wish your way into it. So that's kind of, I created, it will make that happen as long as I continue to move forward.
That's the bottom line. We all have places we want to go, but if you just sit there and think about it like Buddha all day, it unfortunately won't manifest. But
right,
it's part of those struggles, part of that journey that really make the end goal worthwhile.
Totally.
So we've talked about your success up to this point, and I know there's going to be many, many more for you in the future. What would you say was your greatest moment of adversity?
As far as
being an entrepreneur.
My biggest obstacle that I've run into?
Yeah.
Me. It's been my, it's like I was saying before, we're our own worst enemy. So it was never, it wasn't like the money wasn't there to help me along, because we know as entrepreneurs the more action we take, the more money will come. So that's not an excuse. It's excuse making. It's stepping outside my comfort zone. It's getting uncomfortable. That's where it is. And I've been diving a lot into this because I want to be the best I can possibly be, so I can show other people how to be the best that they can be. So I've been diving a lot into understanding the way we handle fear, where fear comes from, and why we have these quote-unquote comfort zones, and why we want to remain comfortable. And I believe that our comfort zone comes from a presence of fear. So if we can understand that our fear is nothing but a manufactured nothing that we create from stories from our past, that we can literally accomplish absolutely anything. I'm not going to say Ray's name so many times, but I've talked to him, and when he has something in his head, there's nothing that's going to stop him from doing it. It's just the way it is. He's like, I don't care what I have to do. It doesn't really matter because nothing's going to hurt me. And that's what was a hard thing for me to wrap my head around. I got so stuck in, what people will think about me. If somebody tells me no, it's offensive, it's scary, it makes me sad. And what I'm realizing is all those fears and anxieties I'm creating myself. Because in reality, when somebody says something negative towards me, or somebody says no to my company or my opportunity or whatever, it really has nothing to do with me. And it's their preconceived notions of whatever we're speaking of. It's like my little boys. They love the smell of coffee, but they don't like the taste of it. Thank goodness. I wouldn't let them drink coffee, but I always mess around with them, want some coffee, and they're like, no. Well, I was the same way when I was a kid. I didn't like coffee. Well, my taste buds have changed. So what changed? It changed the way coffee occurred to me. And it's the same thing with people telling you no. It's just the way it occurs to you. So if somebody says no to you and you're like, oh my gosh, my heart hurts so bad. Why did they say no? Must be something wrong with me. Maybe I smell bad. No. No has to do with them. Hey, I just don't like your stuff. It's not a big deal. So when we change the way when we change others' reactions towards us, when we change the way they occur to us, we can literally do anything.
Awesome. That's so true on so many levels. So, what are you doing now to break that comfort zone?
I'm constantly finding what would make me uncomfortable and just doing it anyway.
Such as?
I don't like cold prospecting. Hate it. So I'm pushing myself to do that. And it's a funny thing is it's really not that big of a deal. It's not. I didn't like going when I was doing my 20 no's a day. I basically typed in real estate Naples and just started going through the numbers and just started calling people. And by the time I got to the end, I'm like, sure, it's taking a long time. And it wasn't like the first one. I was like, oh my gosh, you would have thought I was calling like the most important person on the earth, and it was just some other person on the other line. But by the time I was finished, I was like, I got other things I need to do. I need to get through this list. So it was like, so I'm constantly pushing myself outside my comfort zone. I don't like singing in front of people. I'm doing that. I don't like dancing in front of people. I do that now, and I'm doing things that I've always thought were uncomfortable, and I'm realizing that I was missing out on a lot of fun.
Interesting. Have you heard of Michael Burnoff?
I have not.
Write this down. Michael Burnoff gives a 3-day course, and actually it's a 5-day course. I took it a couple of months ago. It's called Call to Action.
Okay.
And it really changed my life. I got more done in that 5 days than I had in 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just so motivating, and he really digs deep into what keeps us fearful and what keeps us from stepping outside that comfort zone. And so I invite you to take that course.
Totally.
Definitely worth it. But cool. Yes, stepping outside your comfort zone. Actually, it's been since I've taken that course that I've started looking for ways that make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I started Toastmasters because of that course and getting better at public speaking, and I launched my website, and I launched a business, and doing interviews with awesome people like yourself, and just pushing the boundaries to become the best person that I can be. I definitely want to be respectful of your time. So before we go, what is one piece of advice that you would offer to new entrepreneurs, and how can more people get in contact with you?
Yeah, totally. So one piece of advice, I'm going to say one thing and then I'm going to give you the advice, and it's quick. Remain humble. That's the biggest thing right there. And find somebody that's having success, that is somebody that you want to be, and emulate what they're doing. Don't reinvent the wheel. You're just going to spin your wheels. You're going to waste time. You're going to get discouraged. You're going to spend a whole lot of money, and you're going to get very lackluster results. Possibly, it might be one of the very few quick, but follow somebody that has integrity and are authentic, and run with them. I mean, that took me a long time to figure that out. I did it about almost a year and a half now, and it's when I've had my most extreme success. And it's been just under a year and a half. There's something that whoever's watching this, I'm really not anybody like I know that I'm not anybody like outstandingly special that all of a sudden like came into this industry and I'm like this brilliant person that know how to do things. And I don't consider myself brilliant. I just think I figured it out. I just think that I understand that you have to be consistent and persistent and constantly push the limits of your education and then push the limits of your zone. You do that, and you have no choice but to have success. It's just gonna come, and you want just all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, it's happening, and it's gonna be one of the most exciting. I mean, I'm getting chills right now. It's like it's gonna be one of the most exciting things ever that you put it all out there, and it's like it's coming back. It's an amazing feeling.
Awesome. Well, my friend, I expect nothing but big things from you, and for you to impact many more people. How can more people get in touch with you? Do you have a website, or is Facebook the best way?
Yeah, actually, give me 1 second. You can go to stevekrivda.com.
Okay.
And I think I did. Well, hang on. Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is stevekrivda.com. Sorry about that. Or facebook.com, and it's steven.c.krivda. I know it's Steven, period, a little dot, C as in Clark, dot Krivda.
Perfect.
You can believe it or not, there are Steve Krivdas out there, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I always like to think that I'm unique, but then I do a Google search for my name, and about 1 billion other people came up.
Cool, man.
Awesome, my friend. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to for this interview and imparting some really encouraging words of wisdom on us. I know that this interview will be leveraged to impact and motivate people well into the future. So I really appreciate you taking your time to talk with us today.
Cool, man. I really appreciate it, Joshua. This has been cool. In fact, when you asked me, to tell you that I was honored was an understatement. I'm very grateful for you that you wanted to have some time with me. This has been awesome.
My pleasure, my friend. It's totally been my pleasure. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, my friend, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Right on, man. Thanks, man.
Take care, buddy.
See you, bro.